Earn with Todd here, and in this video, I'm going to teach you what settings to use for the best indicator in the world, the RooVersal indicator. And if you just purchased the RooVersal indicator, which is my absolute phenomenal Kangaroo Tail indicator, you're about to discover some of the best settings to use right out of the package. So let's go ahead and dive into this, and you're going to learn to become a boss at trading Kangaroo Tails. Okay, so we have my indicator up, the RooVersal. This is on August 30th, 2022, and I just want to show you an example of how I dialed these settings in to be able to identify entries on monster trade setups like this picture perfect wick off scenario. Here over here, you got some nice consolidation, and then we have a bullish Kangaroo Tail that is extending past all three moving averages, the EMA, smooth moving average, and an EMA smooth for a period of 10. And with these settings, this Kangaroo Tail with the proper filters ran all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top of this consolidation. And if we look at how many R's this was, you're looking at about 11 R's right there. But if you were to exit this trade at the moving average crossovers, which I recommend doing, you would still be in 8 R's. Then if we look, as London session came on, okay, we see this nice wick off move. We see the consolidation on the top. And then we have nothing but bearish Kangaroo Tails screaming sells until the 100 moving average would be crossed way down here. So let's go ahead and draw the risk reward tool right here on this bearish Kangaroo Tail right on the top. Perfect consolidation, wick extending past this consolidation. And the way we would have entered this trade, stop loss above the wick, and we would have held this until we see a clear moving average crossover. And this was a crazy drop. And believe it or not, if you backtest these Kangaroo Tails, I mean, like I said, you can get easy 10, 20, even 50 Rs. We look here, this is about 50 Rs running. But more importantly is all of these continuation entries. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 continuation entries. 3 of these lost, but I mean, if you bring up the risk reward again and you're holding, remember that first hold was about 50 Rs. Let's say you enter one like this with the settings I'm about to show you, and we would hold this until you get a clear moving average crossover right here, and that would be a decent 30 yards. So I mean, if you keep continuing to stack using the settings I'm about to show you, you're going to get some insane results. Now, eventually I will have this completely automated where there is an EA, but let's go ahead and dive into the nuts and bolts of the settings I used to get all of these picture perfect entries. So to catch these nice trending moves, I had my Kangaroo body percent on 40, I had a room to the left on 5, and I had ATR candle size on 0.5. Also, my trading times was between 2 and 10 a.m. Now, to show you what these filters actually do, if I just set the Kangaroo Tail indicator to default, we'll put room to the left of 1. I'll put my time to all times, candle size ATR 0.25, and look at how many Kangaroo Tails we have. Now, the first thing that I like to do to filter these out is first work on the Kangaroo body percent. And if you don't already know, that's basically get a measure whether for a bearish Kangaroo Tail that the close on this body is going to be in the lower 40%. So I like to keep my candle body size on 40%. If you want to filter out more, you can obviously make that less. But for example's sake, let's go ahead and put the room to the left of 5. And let's put ATR size to 0.5. And as we see, quite a few disappear. But we can filter these out further by choosing specific trading times we want to do, because you don't want to have this running 24/7 when you're actually not going to be trading. You want to set these for when you're actually going to be trading, when you're on the charts. And what we're left with is a very clean markup. There's not as many Kangaroo Tails. And the ones that do appear are huge winners. Now, of course, you do got like 5 or 6 losses between this morning, but I mean, look at how many R's you're going to get following this trend entry system. Now, if you want to filter out even more Kangaroo Tails, you would set the room to the left on about 20 or 25. We'll put 25 on here, and you can also bump up the ATR candle size. Now, there is a problem when you do that. You're going to start taking out a lot of good continuation trend entries. So as we saw here, there was a bunch of Kangaroo Tails on these moving averages. So one of the tips I would suggest doing is just keeping ATR candle size on 0.5, and during a trending market, when you know price is clearly trending under the moving averages or above, you can go ahead and set room to the left for 5. And as we see, our entries come back. So this indicator is very versatile. If you wanted to, you could even go down lower and do 20% body candles only, whatever fits. But for NASDAQ specifically, I recommend following the settings in this video. Now, if you're wondering if this works on other indices besides just NASDAQ, yes, US 30 has some good setups. DAX has some good setups. If you're a Forex trader You're going to see a lot of crazy 5 to 15 minute setups. So I recommend obviously backtesting this, finding the best settings that work for you. But like I said, start with the NASDAQ settings on here. I'll go ahead and put it back up here one last time. My Kangaroo body percent is 40. For trending markets, my room to the left is set on 5. If I'm looking for counter trend entries, then my room to the left can be 20 or 25. But for trends, keep it on 5, ATR 0.5, ATR period 14. Your trading times, simply input whatever trading sessions you're trading during, and you'll be good to go. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the other features in here with the RooVersals. We actually have the ability to set entry, stop loss, and take profit lines. And the way you would do that, you're simply going to click on Show Entry SL Lines, and you'll be able to input a reward to risk number. So for an example here, we'll set a risk reward of 4. We got 1 winner, 1 loser. So as you change this, the lines will change also. And there is also a way to factor in spread. The way you do that is click on this, offset stop loss, and you can choose an ATR percentage of how much higher you would like your stop losses to be for a bearish Kangaroo Tail or a bullish Kangaroo Tail. This will change. So as you change this, your stop loss gets taller. And dynamically, your TP zones will also change, because with the bigger stop loss with spread, you're going to have to make your take profit line a little bit bigger. But I like to keep this on between 20 and 30% for the ATR. Just that. So if you want to get a little bit more safer, you can, but just remember, you will be affecting your reward to risk. Or you just hold. You hold for the moving average crossover. For instance, if you're in this one, the way that I would trade this is I'm going to keep holding until I get a clear moving average crossover, which we get right here. We get the wick off drop. We get nothing but bearish flags. The market is screaming sell. We can hold until we officially get more consolidation and the moving average crossover. But if we go back up here, let's see how many of these trades would have won for all the sells. We got a winner here. We got a winner here. This one just gets obliterated. This one gets obliterated too. But then we get some of these nice wicks where, you know, the market's going to take off and you're going to get a monster trade. Now, I do want to warn you, when you're in a big downtrend like this and there's nothing but bearish flags, you're going to want to ignore the bullish Kangaroo Tails. Leave them alone unless you're happy with your profits and you're going to attempt to take another counter trend trade. But I don't think there's any point in doing that. You can just keep holding. I mean, you will get some action like this for a stop hunt, so you might want to wait a couple candles until after the initial moving average crossover, because that's going to allow you to catch a much bigger chunk of profit. Now, looking at additional filters, you can choose if you want to only show Kangaroo Tails that are either overbought or oversold on the RSI. You can choose to use an RSI overbought oversold filter. But in doing so, most of our good setups are going away here. So you may want to be careful if you do use the RSI filter. And every setting will have this little eye next to it. So you're going to be able to see what regular Kangaroo Tails are, super Kangaroo Tails are, and what ultra Kangaroo Tails are. And whenever we see a rocket on the chart, a rocket emoji, that's going to signify that there is a divergence on the EFI oscillator. When there is an explosion emoji with a purple candle, that is going to signify not only is there divergence in the market, but there is a significant volume spike in the last 3 candles. And you can actually choose that volume percentage gain right here. If you want to turn on and off the exponential moving average or the simple moving average, you can do so here. Everything is customizable. If you do not want to see color labels, you can change the opacity, you can remove them completely, whatever you want. Everything is customizable on this indicator. You can choose the size of them, you can make them huge, or you can make them barely noticeable if you click on the auto settings. Down here, we also have our exponential moving average parameters, and we also have our EMA smoothing parameters. I like to use a 30 EMA and also a 10 EMA smooth on top of the 100 simple moving average. And let me tell you, as time goes on, this indicator is going to keep getting more features. I recently took a course on how to code my own indicators. So that is a skill I now have in my back pocket to use anytime I want. So if you spent some good money on this indicator, if you bought a lifetime, maybe you want to have a certain feature in here, make sure you email me and I will get features added to this indicator. Like I said, this is an ongoing indicator. So as more ideas come through, this indicator is just going to keep growing and growing. And if you pay for monthly, you'll still get updates monthly, because anytime I update this indicator, you'll also get the update instantly. But that is all I have for you in this video. If you have further questions about this indicator, you can come hop on my live streams. I do demonstrations of this indicator completely live. Sometimes I'll win, sometimes I'll lose. We like to keep it real on that stream. But anyways, with that said, y'all have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you in my next video.